What was one of your biggest learning lessons? You're almost like welcome to consulting is what I like to call it, where something had happened, whether it was bad or good, or something that you'll always remember and take a lesson from it that you'd like to pass on to other people.
Well, I put a building in the wrong spot, so.
Yeah, that could be one. That could literally be one. Welcome back to the workshop presented by Aplin Martin. On today's episode, we're joined by Zuzana Rijken, Manager BC Survey, and David Craik, Provincial Survey Lead, Alberta. Zuzana and David share their accounts of a career in surveying geomatics, from their day-to-day challenges to the growth of their respective teams. It was awesome to hear Zuzana and David share their history, working relationship, and stories within the industry, and I hope you all enjoy. Before we get into geomatics and what you guys both do here at Aplin, I'd like to hear a little bit of a brief background about yourselves. Where'd you guys grow up, go to school, and how many years of experience do you currently have?
Want to start? Oh, I guess I'm starting? Okay. I just went blank. Look at that, just like that.
Okay, I'm jumping in.
Yeah, you jump in.
All right, I was born in the Czech Republic. I grew up there and I went to university there. I graduated with master's degree in geomatics, and I've been in the industry for about 20 years now, out of which 10 at Aplin. Yeah.
Awesome. Did you do any of the work then geomatics back at home, or was all the experience here?
I did. So when I graduated, in the Czech Republic, it's a little different in that if you do want to be a land surveyor or a professional, you do have to get your master's. So I did. And then I worked there for a couple of years. And initially moving to Canada was supposed to be just a 1-year stint to see what the industry is all about somewhere else and learn English, and life happened.
So was it almost like part of the goal kind of was learning, I guess, in conjunction with doing the land surveying?
Yeah, it was. And then, as I said, it's just applying for a permanent residency was just about the same amount of work as another permit. So I did that. And then a few years later, I sort of worked in a good company and started thinking about getting my professional license here. And then I met my now husband, and now we have a little daughter. And so, as I said, life happened.
Very cool. Now the terminology from, I guess, back home in the Czech Republic to Canada, how much different was it? Like, what was the learning curve like?
I mean, the technology is the same. Like, the instruments are the same, the math is the same.
Yeah.
Where it differs is the legal aspect and how the cadastre is set up, and whether it's coordinates that govern or whether it's the evidence in the field that governs. So it's more sort of the as I said, math is the same, technology is the same.
Okay.
But the consulting piece, I would say, is different.
Okay, so almost like not the process, but I guess a little bit kind of like that.
Yeah.
All right. David, yourself?
Brief background. I was, grew up in Nova Scotia, high school, went to Lawrencetown, Center of Geographic Sciences, small little school in the middle of nowhere in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
But it was was one of the best survey schools back in the day, and a lot of hands-on learning out in the fields and pastures and stuff. But bunch of survey companies from North America and stuff all had a co-op in the gym, and they're all looking for surveyors, and so I just said, okay, let's go, and got a one-way ticket and came out to Edmonton all by myself. Didn't know really anyone here in Edmonton, and it was just like more of I have lots of debt. Let's go in the oil and gas and get lots of money and go back and get my degree and stuff. But life happens, and just pretty much ended up staying and just working with Focus at oil and gas for. Got bought out by WSP. I was with them for around 19 years or so. oil and gas was the first 3 or 4 years of my career, and then jumped across the hallway to municipal side of survey, and been in that ever since. I find a lot more different applications for geomatics.
Yeah.
We usually take the engineering designs and stuff and lay out buildings, sanitary, storm, and there's that part, plus there's a legal aspect, which we're doing subdivisions and real property reports. And it was actually more consistent work. Oil and gas was boom and bust kind of thing, and either you worked 14 hours a day, 3 weeks straight, or you don't.
Or you're off,
And so, with this was the municipal side of things, a little bit more steady work and stuff. And I wasn't going outside of the city very often.
Yeah.
So with oil and gas, I was away from home for 3 weeks. So after a couple of years, my other half said, "Hey, we need you around a little bit more." Otherwise,
I do want to see your face at home sometimes.
Yeah, and so I went to my boss at the time and said, "Okay, my girlfriend, aka my wife now, wants me to be at home more often. Do you got a job for me in the office or something?" And he's like, "Quite frankly, we just had a planning checker quit, so yes, you can start on Monday. Come on in." So,
oh wow!
And it was kind of one of those asked a question, and that's where my career kind of changed paths, and from there it was lots. I had my hands in a lot of things.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever go back and visit out east then, or no?
Actually, I went on the 25-year, saw some friends 3 years ago, I do believe, for a 25-year high school anniversary kind of thing.
Okay.
But that's it. I haven't actually been back. My whole neighborhood that I used to grew up in and stuff, the PMQs, they're all demolished.
Oh wow!
The only thing that left in the whole neighborhood is just the 2 schools. So
okay.
It was I was like, holy crap, what happened? So I could go back, and there's just grass everywhere and some roads, but yeah, it was a whole big military neighborhood and stuff. Was awesome growing up in, because we had lots of kids and we just went on cool hikes and biking and stuff. And but no longer.
Very cool.
Residences are.
So Zuzana, I know David just spoke about a little bit how he got involved with engineering and geomatics. How did you get involved?
It wasn't necessarily premeditated. When I was finishing high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And as I mentioned before, I was pretty good with math, and I did cross-country skiing competitively growing up. And so I was sort of looking at 2 options, geomatics or physiotherapy, actually.
Okay.
And then I applied to the universities, and in the Czech Republic, you have to go through admission exams to get to university, and they both ended up being the same day. And so I postponed one and went to the geomatics first. And before I even got a chance to write the other one, I knew that I was admitted. And so I was like, well, whatever, one exam less, let's do geomatics.
Yeah.
And here we are. Yeah, no, it's been great.
So was there anybody that kind of influenced you to go into geomatics back then, or what was the original interest in it?
So both of my parents were geotechs.
Okay.
And even with their work, not always do they spend all their time in the office. It's like, go out to the sites, go visit. They would work a lot with engineers and surveyors as well. And so I got a chance to meet one of their friends who was a surveyor, and then that's where the sort of maybe that is a career came up. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. So now I want to talk about, I guess, the exact roles and responsibilities that you guys currently hold within the field of geomatics. Well, let's start.
Well, I'm still trying to figure that out.
Oh. That's a good answer, actually.
It evolves every week. I just got the business group leader position it'll be a year and a half ago, and just been kind of building a team. So just trying to develop process, procedures, and train, mentor, lead, give a good product for the clients and stuff. So it's drawing a blank on that one. You?
I mean, that kind of sums it up. We have a similar roles. I do manage the BC Survey Group. We do have offices predominantly in Lower Mainland, but on the Vancouver Island as well. And it's a decent sized group, probably about 30 people.
Okay.
So yeah, it's fun.
So are you guys doing what you guys do, and being part of the same group? Are you guys always in constant communication then, daily, weekly? Like what does a day-to-day kind of look like for you guys?
When there's no flames or fires to put out and stuff, be proactive, and I usually call her up and ask her about certain situations and everything and get her experience. And we have, I think we're around 13 now in Alberta for our survey division, and I do believe 4 or 5 have been hired or transferred since July of last year. So our group has grown steadily, and but it's also growing, but keeping our quality of our survey, making sure you don't screw up, and stuff like that. So yeah, I try and stay in touch as much as I possibly can, and if there's a situation, I'm like, I'll reach out to Zuzana and see what she thinks.
Yeah, go to Superwoman to make sure.
Oh, see if I have an answer. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't.
All right, so now here's the hard one that you were nervous about answering off the air. Can you define geomatics? Like, what is geomatics in your own words?
Geomatics, in my own words, is measuring stuff with electronics. That's basically it. You?
Yeah. Pretty much, defining anything in relationship to Earth's surface. Whether we measure stuff that's pre-existing for design purposes, or whether we're measuring something that's now newly built for, as-built or just record keeping. Anything that needs to positioning against anything else, like boundaries, we can help.
Yeah, and for Aplin Martin, I find we're integrated. Well, for us here in Alberta, it's we're integrated with the civil engineers, architects, remote sensing and planning. So we get our fingers dirty on go on an existing site, do a topo, give that to the civil engineers. They do their designs and everything. Comes back to us. Lay out all the systems and everything, build the houses, the roads, and then complete with our real property reports at the end. So it's from start to finish, we get to look at a project the whole way through.
Very cool. So now, how quickly kind of are you able to turn around almost those deliverables from when you're first on site, I guess depending on the scale of the site, to completion to hand it off to the engineers for the design?
Yeah, it really depends. Depends on the size of the site, on the complexity of it. It can be anywhere from, a couple of days on site to a few weeks on site. And then once we actually finish the field work, there's some time for data processing and drafting, and so I don't know. For smaller projects, probably like week to 2. For bigger ones, it can be a month. And then there are the fires and emergencies, and that can be pretty much the next day if needed.
Yeah. So when you guys go on site, are there any limitations to where, I guess you can do such work? Like what's the most challenging aspect, I guess, that you could say when you do have to go on a site to complete the initial geomatics work?
I would say terrain and safety of our staff would be the 2 main concerns or limitations. With that, with terrain, it's often choosing the right tools. So some technology may not be, suitable to use in certain conditions, but there's usually a way there's always a way how to get the job done. Mm-hmm. Just sometimes it takes a little bit of a thinking outside of a box and might take a little longer.
Well, your environment's a little bit more gentler than ours. Equipment and stuff doesn't really work well in minus 30.
Did you look outside of the window? What kind of mountains we have here?
Blue skies. Blue skies. Look at that.
So you're saying it's not only then, I guess, the terrain that can be a challenge, but also then the weather, depending on where and what time of year you guys are completing these surveys. Then.
Correct. Like it's site specific. Sometimes they're on plant sites and everything, and their safety is through the roof just because of the of that site. But then you can go to a topo on a pasture field that's just grass and blue sky that's out there, or it's summer times, rain. I know Calgary, we have some hail and stuff. You got to be cognizant as you're out there in the middle of nowhere, or of the weather conditions and stuff, because they can change really quickly. And then landscape and stuff. Well, you got Rockies, so are we a little bit more flat over there in Calgary and Edmonton? So so the elevation changes and stuff over here probably more significant than Calgary and Edmonton.
And then the fuzzy friends that come knocking.
Oh yeah, you have fuzzy friends.
Bears.
Okay. Very
It's
interesting.
you would be surprised how close they get to existing developments, and so it's not uncommon that we have our staff encountering bears on sites where they're surveying.
Okay, so then in terms of that, and I guess in terms of wildlife, or even like you said, terrain, are there almost like safety courses and stuff like that that are kind of mandatory that staff do have to take in order to partake in this sort of work?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Very cool. Can you guys get a little bit into that process? Is it almost just provided by Aplin, or is it come from like an outside?
That wasn't on the list.
It's we or Aplin were deciding on what courses we would like our staff to take, or what we find is needed for them to safely do their jobs.
Yeah.
But the courses themselves are provided by external partners. As an example, there would be fall protection. So like working on construction sites, often there might be balconies that have, that are not finished. And so our staff needs to be tied up to actually be able to do the survey. Or bear awareness, bear aware. What else do we have?
First aid.
First aid, yep. First aid. Traffic safety. I think those are kind of the main stuff that we get our ground disturbance, because often, setting our legal posts where, we're setting, 2 feet long metal bars into the ground. So knowing or having the idea of what might be inside or down on the ground is important.
Yep.
I think that kind of covers it.
I think it does.
Out in Calgary, is there anything then specific as well that, not that you tell your crew every time that they go out, or is it more so, again, like you said, site specific previously?
Alberta, for Aplin Martin, we're core certified. So we do daily hazard assessments in the morning, weekly tailgates and stuff. And it is one of those things on the daily hazard assessment is like, hey, what's the weather?
Yeah.
What are the site conditions? Are you on a construction site that's busy? Are you in a pasture? Or are you even, when you're downtown, there's obstructions and safety issues and stuff downtown and everything. That's, we've all of a sudden you turn around and your target's gone and you're like,
What happened?
where did my backside go? So it's a daily thing, and we talked about safety all the time, just so that it becomes a habit, a good habit to be in.
Very cool. Now, with all the terrain, you guys had mentioned that there are a lot of different tools and a lot of different technologies that you guys are able to use in order to complete kind of these surveys, whether you said it was downtown or even more remote areas. Can you guys go into a little bit of what kind of tools are at your disposal?
Yeah, so obviously we have our conventional instruments, total stations and prisms, and even those have changed. What we call conventional has changed quite dramatically over the past, I would even say, 10, 20 years. Then we have GPS, or GNSS, I should say now, and then some of the more modern technologies like laser scanning and photogrammetry, UAVs with photogrammetric or LiDAR payload. So there's lots of different options how to complete a survey. Yeah.
Ditto.
That works.
List the same.
Very cool. And how often has this technology kind of evolved? Because obviously, almost it seems like every 6 months or every year by year, even like your phones are changing, right? But coming with that survey equipment, how often have you guys seen kind of a rapid evolution?
Well, I've been a part of one way back in 2000. They turned selective availability off. So when we first started doing GPS or GNS surveys and stuff, there was only 4 or 5 satellites in the sky that we could use.
Okay.
And so in school, you had to go around and have an inclinometer and sketch out where the trees are, your high level, put it into Trimble Geomatics office at the time, and it would give you a schedule of when the best option to have 3 satellites in the sky to do GPS.
Yeah.
Well, there's ones that it was 1 o'clock in the morning. So my little student crew that I worked with at college, we were out there at 12:30 in the dark, setting up.
Oh, wow.
GPS, and then the following, and then after that 1 year, the first year, they took selective availability off, so it opened up all of the satellites for surveying, which was at that time went from 4 to 10 or 11, and then the rest of the countries came in, and all of a sudden, any given time on your data collector, there's probably like 10, 12 satellites floating around there that you can that they use and stuff for the signals. So it has been a significant change.
Yeah, I was gonna say, safe to say there were no other 1 a.m. meetings outside for that.
Nope. You didn't have to do those sketches anymore and stuff like that. It was just set up and kind of go. So, and then total stations, they've come a long way in the last 10 years. Our crews all have robotic total stations, so we're just 1-person crew. In my field, we're always 2-person. So in my head, it's just like, that's crazy that the technology is there, that it will follow them around. I don't know the range on those things. I think it's like a kilometer or something.
Yeah.
Wow.
Could be up to a kilometer.
But it'll just follow the guy around, person around, and robotic total stations, I'm finding, are a little bit faster than actual GPS.
So it's making it, like you said, it's making the process a lot more efficient and the detail oriented.
Yes, more efficient, more accurate, taking a little bit of human error out of there by using the robotic total station and stuff.
Yeah, scanning is another example. You know, when I went to university, I remember during classes, like, we would like wheel out this massive piece of equipment, you know, like you couldn't carry it, like even like probably with like 5 people, you couldn't carry it.
Yeah.
Like wheeled it out in the middle of a courtyard to like scan the building. Now you have so many different options, including, you know, like one little unit that walk
The
around.
size of your iPhone, you're able to
And
just
you
do
needed, you needed a special computer to deal with that kind of data. Now, you know, you still need a little more power than your average, you know, Surface, but still, you know, that technology became a lot more accessible and I would say commonly used as opposed to looking back 10, 15 years when it was more, well, yeah, cool thing.
Yeah.
Probably never going to see it, thinking never going to see it.
And now you're actually being able to
now
use
you're
those kind of
actually
tools.
using it daily, right? So, yeah, lots has changed in the past 20 years.
Very cool. Now I want you to think back to maybe, again, like you said, just your younger selves coming out of school and stuff like that. What advice would you give to yourselves that are just graduating, coming out of school and looking into getting into this space that it almost could be deemed like atypical or not a common space? Again, smaller discipline, I would say. What advice would you give to someone that wants to join the space if they do think it's more so atypical and not your common discipline?
Well, one, I would say do it. It's a great career. It's, you know, I think even though it might for me personally, at least, it has changed. Part of the reason I went to Geomatics was that, I'm not going to sit behind a desk the whole entire day.
Yeah.
Now with the change of, with the natural progression, that's where I spend most of my time now. But, I haven't for a longest time. I haven't, and it's been great. And then as far as an advice, I think that goes across. Don't be afraid asking questions, asking for help and asking questions.
Yeah.
The learning never ends, and it goes across, goes across careers, across experience. There's always someone who has done more in a certain area, has more experience in certain areas. So, don't hesitate to ask for help and ask questions.
Well, that was my answer.
You can't always just say,
Yeah, ask questions. And don't be afraid. Everyone around, I tell a lot of people, like, we decided to do this career.
Yeah.
You go to school and stuff, so everyone you're working with and everything made that same decision. So everyone wants to help everyone get better. And so just ask questions and ask lots and lots of questions.
Yeah, that's one thing, again, because like you said before, there's always going to be somebody, again, 1 year ahead of you, 2 years ahead of you, right? So just try to absorb and take as much as you can from those people that are willing to help and share, and then implement it into your own work, right? So awesome. Now, looking to the future of surveying in Aplin and Geomatics, what would you guys say is in store for the future, and what are the next big steps for yourselves, the group that you guys are leading, and then the industry as a whole?
Okay. Well, for me, it's like I said, been a year and a half in the role and still developing and stuff. So still making our process procedures in a manual and stuff, and trying to build the team and our Aplin Martin name there in the community with quality and making sure we lay everything out where it needs to be laid out. And that's really it for me. Still trying to figure out the 3 to 5 year plan. My boss is on me about that one, so shh. But yeah, and what was the third thing?
For the industry as a whole.
Industry as a whole, I think that's one thing about our industry. It's you always need people to measure stuff and building and stuff. So as long as there's construction, as long as things are being built,
yep,
then there's going to be jobs for survey and stuff in the future. So the one thing is that the technology and equipment and stuff I'm finding is other people that don't really, how do I put it in the words? They like drone. Take drone, for example. We have third-party drone people that, hey, we can drone this for you. And it's like, well, what's the accuracy? And they're like, it's good enough. Well,
define good enough, exactly, yeah.
I'm a guy that needs to know those numbers and make sure that you've checked your information, and make sure that when I tell my clients plus or minus 2 centimeters, it's plus or minus 2 centimeters, not, it should be good.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know where I was going with that.
I think just, making sure that we do keep up with the technology changes. As we mentioned, it changed hugely over the past 20 years, and obviously with the way everything's going, AI and, technology in general, it will probably change again. And so, not getting complacent with the tools that we know, but, again, going back to, we always learn something new, and we keep learning throughout our careers.
Yep.
That goes through as well with the tools that we're using and the, technology we're using, and the solutions that we can give to our clients kind of morph along with that, because what what was the best tool to use 20 years ago might not be the best tool to use now anymore. Like there might be a better technology, faster, more reliable. So yeah, I think that just keep an eye on that, and then diversify our services as much as possible. So we already work for a lot of we work for people in the private sector. We work for people or for entities in public sector. We work with our internal groups, and so just gives an opportunity to maintain our staffing if one of the side of the industry is a little slower.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say that.
So now I'd like to talk about a little bit of, like you said before, with all the development kind of going around and all the different projects, and again, the diversification and the services you guys provided. What has been each of your favorite area or favorite spot that you guys have completed kind of survey work on, and why?
So one of the coolest places I've got to survey actually goes back to my university years and when I was completing my diploma thesis. The project I worked on was monitoring historical structures. So it was the Prague Castle in the Czech Republic.
Oh, very cool.
That dates back to like 14th century. So it was, setting up in the morning before all the tourist crowds come in the old hall to kind of monitor the structure itself and see how it reacts to like whether the changes are due to weather or whether it might be actual like gradual deformations that are happening to the structure. So that was probably the coolest place I've ever got to work in. Nowadays, I do a fair bit of work with some of the First Nations, and it's work that I really enjoy. And it comes more from getting to know the people and having it's a little bit different than I would say the private side, and you get to spend more time with the clients and get to know a little bit more about them. And just.
So you'd almost say like the personal relationship side of it too.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Okay. Very cool. Yourself, David?
I did have a list, but I guess the earliest one is after my first year of college. I actually went to Fort St. John, worked for McElhaney, and the first job that I was on with that, we laid out 26 kilometers of the center line of the Alaska Highway. I think we were around 100 kilometers south of the Northwest Territories border. And it was, when you're that far north, the sun does not go down.
Oh, wow.
Like, it does go down, but for me, coming from Nova Scotia all the way there, going that far north, I was like, wow, the sun stays out a lot longer than it does in Nova Scotia. And we stay at the Liard Hot Springs, just off the Alaska Highway there. So that was, for me, that was a cool project, and that's where I learned about how close bears usually are.
I guess you can actually get to
continue. We were on quads and going by the highway, and you look down, and it's probably like 500 meters away, not even, and the bear is just sitting in the ditch, just eating grass and just staring at you. And just like the party chief at the time, just like, ignore him. Just keep going.
Just go like
keep
this.
Going. I'm like, okay. It's like, ignore him, but don't ignore him, okay? I'm like, okay, what does that mean?
I was gonna say, probably a little hard when they're actually like just over your shoulder.
Yeah, and that was and then the next day we went to grab the quads, and the bear had actually chewed the seat off one of them. So for the remainder of the week, we didn't have a foam pad on one of the seats for the quads.
What food did you leave there?
Yeah, there was might have been a snack.
Oh, you never know. Chocolate bars. I'm not really sure. But so that was a cool one for me. And then on the municipal side of things, just I actually listed there's a hotel that's attached to the EIA airport or Edmonton Airport, and so that was a project where we did the construction layout for and stuff, and it was that was a difficult one because on the second floor of the hotel, it was had a pedway connecting to the main floor of the airport. And so we actually had to survey inside the airport to where they were going to connect and get an actual elevation and everything. And then it took me, I do believe, 2 days because there's a lease area and they gave me the architect's drawings for this building and stuff, and I was calculating it in, and I just had to keep moving it and tweaking it and sending it back to the client and saying, hey, we're good now. And then just watching them construct the building and stuff. We had to do the anchor bolts and grid lines all the way up through. And then every time I go to the airport and I drive by it, I'm like, yeah, that's
that was
cool.
me.
That's I helped build that. That's one thing like I tell my younger self too. Coming back around on that is when you're a part of surveying and you see something go from a pasture to a subdivision, or just watching the city grow, it's like those are physical things that you can see. It's like, hey, I helped build that, and that gives you a sense of pride and excitement. And so and understandably, there are sometimes things that go sideways on projects and stuff that are challenging, and trying to keep ahead of that and trying to find solutions is stressful at the time, but afterwards you're like, yes,
that
was a good job.
Yeah, I'd like to touch on that now a little bit. What would you say, whether it was in the field or in the office, what was one of your biggest learning lessons? You're almost like welcome to consulting is what I like to call it, where something had happened, whether it was bad or good, or something that you'll always remember and take a lesson from it, that you'd like to pass on to other people.
Well, I put a building in the wrong spot, so.
Yeah, that could be one. That could literally be one.
Yeah, no, it was, I did the topo and stuff and sent all that off. Engineers did all their thing. The architects came back. We calculated out where the building went based off the plans. I went on vacation for a week and then came back, and immediately my boss comes inside. He's like, we have an issue. I'm like, oh. What's going 5 minutes. He said, yeah, I think the building's not in the right spot. I'm like, what do you mean? So it took me about 25 minutes of digging through all the data, and sure enough, the Alberta land surveyor at the time was taking over the project for me, and they, after the fact, had rotated the topo, and so people didn't check and make sure that the base that they were working from was correct. And to match our survey. So our original survey was twisted and no one caught it. So the building's laid out and everything. So the building is actually out of alignment by about 1.5 meters from one side to the other.
Oh, wow.
And so we figured it out and everything. And then the boss had to make a couple of calls. And pretty much we were paying for a new parking lot because they had to regrade it, building and stuff. And then 4 weeks later, I happened to be on site, and then with a site meeting, and site supervisor says, hey, are you the one that put the building in the wrong spot? Oh. And I'm like, yes.
It's a hell of an introduction.
Yeah. And he's like, well, thank you. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, by the way, since they didn't actually have their building permit yet, the building was on 2 lots, and the city of Edmonton said, okay, you have to consolidate this.
Oh, wow.
And so they had to consolidate a lot, but the city came back and says, no, you need to put a right-hand turn lane into the parking lot from the main street. And if we hadn't tweaked that building 1.5 meters, it wouldn't have fit this new right-hand turn lane. So
okay.
It was just like, I was like,
a happy accident.
It was a happy accident.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time now, ever since, like, that's my story for my, because 15, it was in my earlier career and stuff. Yeah. And now when I'm training, I'm like, hey, make sure the site calibration, everything is matching what is the base, engineering base and stuff. So yeah, that's mine.
Similar, not quite, but similar. We surveyed the wrong lot for topo. Went out, got the information out to the guys, and no one really caught it till it was like all done, all drafted, and then I'm looking, about to send it out to the client, and then it's like, wait.
The address is,
like we were supposed to survey this lot, and we did this lot, and they, it was the neighborhood where the lots were nearly identical. And so sometimes, you don't pay that. It's funny how these things happen. It's like one little thing next to another, and, everyone contributes by a little piece by not catching what they should. And, so we went back out and doubled our efforts.
That's funny.
Got
So
paid
again,
once.
so again, almost like attention to detail and stuff like that. Just try to always spend that extra little bit of time whenever you can, right?
Yeah, and it's just sometimes, I think we all work really hard on trying to mitigate all errors, but then at the same time, we're all humans.
It's gonna happen.
And it's a human nature to make mistakes, and so it's finding ways really how to mitigate them, and how every instance like this, it's not just one little thing happening that causes that. It's a chain of events that sort of leads to an outcome like that.
Yeah. So just try again, try to again mitigate and try to avoid that, I guess, as much as you can. Then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'd like to end off with this one then. If you could complete a survey or complete any work in the field anywhere in the world, where would it be?
I mean, I've now surveyed, in Europe, and I've surveyed here. Where would I go next? I think somewhere on the beach in the Caribbean. Yeah.
Shorelines and such, that'd be good.
Shorelines, yeah, and just foreshore, and while I can see that being a good background to
a project
photo station, sitting, on a
A
shoreline.
margarita in another hand,
Yeah.
with the measuring in one.
Yeah, for me, probably the first site that came up, location was just the north, just to go experience and surveying up the very far north, but also do like your beach location as well for survey. But
Should open a satellite office. I think. Pitch it to David.
idea.
yeah, let's just do that. I'd be happy the far north for some reason.
Go back and see the bears again. Or not.
Yeah, the bears. I'd like to see a polar bear.
Okay.
But just to see the train and stuff. I don't know why. It just popped in. It's like, I would like to go,
I think
like,
it would be really cool.
North Pole, just to
Something a little bit different and unique than every day,
it's
right?
barren and it's different survey, because up there it's GPS is satellites. Yeah, something going on with the satellites up there. I don't know.
No, that's awesome to
it's
hear.
just far north, really.
Very cool. No, it's awesome to hear. And again, I'd like to thank you guys for today for sharing your knowledge, stories, and experience, stuff like that. And thanks to the listeners of the workshop. And stay tuned for our next episode. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.